Peace, everyone. Welcome to Karmic Dynasty. I am Joy Ishram right now, sitting here in present day Indianapolis, Indiana, where I'm birthed from, born and raised, running these streets. Not, but I'm from these parts. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I just came off another video, little hype. I am knocking out pneumonia, refusing to allow it to have its way in my life. Instead, I am here. All is not one, says Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and I am here today to begin this anticipated 3 series, 2 videos per week. Now, Francis Cress Welsing is a teacher of ours that I am now studying. So I am here in my study mode. We're back. My BFF Kai Creator, she gonna let y'all know we're back. 100 on the ones. 100 on the ones. Now, for me, when it comes to Francis Cress Welsing, K Croft 99, she is the SME around here. Subject matter expert, the SME. So a lot of what I have to say right now, I anticipate to be guided by my BFF. All right. Now, whether it's guided by her during the live or guidance that I've already collected along the way of knowing her, because she will post about Francis Cress Welsing. Don't play with her. She's my moderator on one of my moderators on YouTube, and I'm enjoying her presence being here, keeping me company right now, and the rest of you coming on in. Francis Cress Welsing. So let's get into checking her out and see what's going on. Let me clear up my madness from my laptop. Francis Cress Welsing. And also, right now, I'm gonna say how I came about this video. I was near completing my Bobby Hemmett Study and Apply series with Aleister Crowley. Check it out on YouTube. And the audience was thinking, and we came across at the same time, Bobby Hemmett was talking about the importance of how you treat a woman. So Francis Cress Welsing had came up, and I had politely said, well, I guess the next teacher we had in line, which was a man, we got a line of men. I got the women scattered throughout. I said, oh no, the woman's gonna be next. So Francis Cress Welsing, I have her on the platform. A respected teacher and here to learn. I am open, transparent as a student, and seeing more of directly things I've heard and seen and saw, how it's straight from the source, as I know it, of being Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Now, a lot of us, we definitely are familiar with her works, the ISIS papers, Keys to the Colors. So, and me, myself, I have had the book twice. I have yet to read it. So, from my time with preparing for this series, of course, this doctor, she has more than one work of the literary course type. So check her out. Right here, right now, I see a reference. So we're gonna look at what we could say on this note for right now. Labels. Okay. She was an American psychiatrist and well-known prominent of the Black supremacist melanin theory. And her 1970, The Cress Theory of Color, Confrontation, and Racism, White Supremacy, offered her interpretation of what she described as the origins of white supremacy culture. Okay, so she's from Chicago. Her father is a physician and her mother was a teacher. She had her siblings. She earned her BS degree Ohio. Let me see. Okay, she got married to a man from Ghana. He was enrolled in Howard University. He was in the medical, so a lot of background in her area, in her life. Now, right quick, I'm going over here and I'm going to say right quick and talk on my thumbnail. Now, my thumbnail has Francis Cress Welsing here in the foreground, and there is this crowd of people. And you know, sometimes some of them, they want to be important, very important. Like, how dare you look over me? Like the young child over her shoulder. And I could just hear her saying, all is not one. We are not the same. We are not the same. There's no way we're the same. Of course, everything comes from the source, but hey, as I said in the Bobby Hemmings, so something, the septic tanks, they exist for a reason. Some things are the septic tank and some things is not. That includes people too. What they some call mankind. Mankind. Our kind exists for a reason, and they use it. They, them, authorities, they use it. As far as I know, far back as the moon landing. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. However that phrase went, for mankind, kind of a man, humankind, kind of a human. They themselves say it. But then you have some of those other selves of them that say and want to celebrate and ring around the rosies of we're all one. There's like really, literally, logically no way. There's phases in life to this thing. It simply is. I just simply right now in life can't see it any other way. If we were the same, why is my hair that I just cut all off a few days ago come out like this, coily, and they have this, I call fur. I have called fur for some time. That's just my upfront theory on this right now, and that's just me and my thumbnail, not this nail, thumbnail, the cover photo. Crazies. Let's go. So on this here, yeah, and moving forward on, she was assistant professor at Howard University. She created her first body of work in 1969, The Cress Theory of Color Confrontation. She self-published it in 1970. Self-published. The paper subsequently appears in the 1974 May edition of the Black Scholar, the introduction to her thoughts that would be developed in the ISIS papers, released 22 years later. A compilation of Welsing's essays about global and local relations. Now, right quick, I'm going to go over some of the upcoming titles, and these titles I put together from quotes from Dr. Francis Cress Welsing to cover the next weeks. So part 2 later this week is going to be called The Symbolism of Christ. No, it's called, hold on where I'm at. Oh, Conquer the Sign, Symbolism of Christ. Then there's The War Against Males. Episode 3. Episode 4 is Black Women Fail. And episode 5 is Dancing and Clowning. And episode 6 is called Go Back to Africa. The offense can be taken. That's your business, mind your business. But this is what the doctor had to say. This is what the doctor had to say. People take doctor's prescriptions and go get them filled all the time and take those prescriptions to their medicine cabinet and eat them up. I'm curious to see and further hear how people are taking this prescription from this doctor, Frances Cress Welsing. She has written her prescriptions. You can see them in her works. How many people are able to swallow the pill? So, pill to swallow, just from the titles alone, just from me creating the titles and putting this out over a 3-week period. So right now, the concept and the color of God, that's what we're working on now from my point of view. The theory and the viewpoint of Frances Cress Welsing, plus sprinkle some Karmic dynasty in there. Page 171 of the concept and the color of God, she speaks on the all is not one. So I think really overall her books have the same message. Summary. So something like the genocide of people of color, along with issues faced by Black Americans. However you term yourself, copper colored, copper beings, African Americans, it don't matter. What matters is, according to Welsing, the genocide of people is caused by white people's inability to produce melanin. The minority status of whites has caused what she calls a preoccupation with the white genetic survival. Minority status of whites. Now, right quick, I'd like for those of us who didn't know, but you about to find out to know, that we are not the minority. All of my being and living here, I've heard I'm almost 50, according to the calendar. A lot of that time, I heard that we are the minorities. We are not the minorities. We've never been a minority, and we will not ever be the minority. It's just genetically impossible. And speaking of genetics, it would also be why those who are the minority have children with us. And the further evidence would be that those children, skin tones are darker and a little cut deeper than their parent of the origin where the minority of their background come from. Colors bleed. When you wash your clothes, you put them whites in with a red t-shirt and watch what you come out with. The shirt ain't quite white and it ain't quite red, but you could tell that red touch. You can't go around it. That's why people don't mix whites when they do their color, when they wash their clothes. I do, because I don't care. But you ain't about to see me mix with no whites. I mix my white clothes. Some of them, because some of them, I need them to be white when I wear them. So I keep all the whites to themselves. Like a lot of people would say that we need to be doing. We're not supposed to be race mixing, is what some people will say. The whites stay here, the colored stay here. Even got our clothes, like the white clothes, the colored clothes, whites and colors. Even say it on your detergent bottles. Even got the detergents being racist. Got the washing machine being racist. Don't put the white clothes in with your colored clothes. And despite how many of us grew up hearing that, when they come outside of that laundry room, oh, they mixing. Ain't no problem. And then wonder why the pink clothes, you just can't wear them everywhere the same no more. And for me, honestly, from what I've seen, the offspring is the same way. Their child can't walk around we're gonna stay in terms of color. Who close? Colored child. They can't walk around in the manner of a white child because they pink, like the white and the red shirt mix, and they just like, well, at this rate in life, really, I like to say, who said they got to pick a side? Where is the pressure on that child come from to where they got to pick a side? They're like, well, my white parent or they family, and then my colored parent, they family. It is just to me, that's a crazy weight of responsibility that some people put their children in. And instead of that child life being celebrated for who they are, they put them on a path to want to pick. You're going to pick your white family or you're going to pick your colored family. Who are you going to be? And then when it comes time to that child be picking, selecting or having or being selected as a mate in a union and having their own family, they're like, and I can only imagine, of course, because I'm not, okay? But will I offend my white parent because I selected a colored, or will I offend my colored parent because I selected a white counterpart? I mean, the stress. I just talked about stress in my last video. Stress. And people worry about what kind of food you eat. Stress is killing you. Y'all be putting some burdens on these children that ain't even theirs to carry. It ain't they crossed the bear. You did that. You made that decision. However it happened, that ain't on the way to the child. Now, in my own household, I have my own theories and thoughts. So what you hearing from me right now ain't my theory or thought. This is Karmic Dynasty. Just simply. I have my own thoughts. And I let me see, according to the titles for this Francis Cress Welsing, yeah, right now would be appropriate time to talk about it. These are my thoughts when it comes to my household and my bloodline, my children, and their children. It's where I got my say so. Because anything happened before me, I wasn't here, I can't say nothing about it. I have shared with mine, and this is again on All Is Not One. Child, outside the us realm, which covers a good amount of space of backgrounds and diversity. Have a child outside of the us realm if you want to. And y'all know how I am about, I'm again talking to my children. You know how I am speaking what is real. Have a child. Let me one day, if you want to, have to tell my child, my grandchild, wow, they got a scar right here, and the other grandchildren don't. When we go swimming, and they all changing clothes, put their swimming suits on, and the mirror shows that this child, who is a product of mixed races, has a scar where the tail was cut off. And the other ones, no mixing, don't have no scar. I'm telling you, was with a tail, and I tell what I tell right in front of there, and so all the kids gonna hear. It ain't gonna be no teasing and laughing and fun shit. It's just what it is. You was born with a tail, and they wasn't. Well, why I was born with a tail? You know, kids got questions. Well, why I was born? Why I'm the only one got a tail, nobody tail? Well, cause you want to look pictures alone. Look at some family album photos. Cause words is what? Frequency all they own. So we ain't gonna take it there. We're gonna look at this. Say less is my motto. Say less. Now, this is this grandchild, your cousin, this his mama and daddy. Here go your mom and daddy. Now you tell me what's the difference between your mom and daddy and your cousin's mom and daddy that wasn't born with tails. They tell their own story, but I'm gonna bring it to the forefront. It's to be discussed. Ain't no way around it. I learned a long time ago. I seen and learned a long time ago. As in 4 or 5 years ago when I first came on, maybe 6, when I was a student, and the platform that brought me to be noticed and have my own platform. Over on that platform, there's plenty of knowledge and talk about them white people being born with tails, and at some age, especially in the older age, born with them horns. I mean, some stuff just what it is. Wikipedia, the social media, Google it, whatever your search theory is, and go check it out. For instance, Cress Welsing is not putting out there nothing that y'all can't know for yourself, and or you don't know. Just the blending and how the ways and motions of nature move tells us all that. So then when there's a day come and you hear about it and you see about it, you won't be offended. You're going to be offended with nature. Don't be offended about us who talking about it, about us that won't sweep it under the rug. Because, yeah, you can cut off the tail, but that scar is telling on your ass. You can use a cosmetic surgery and clean and polish up the scar and it'll go away. Inside that child is always the knowing that they are different. Whether they got to tell or not. I promise. Frances Cress Welsing goes on to look at we go on to look at her thoughts on the injustice caused by racism will end when non-white people worldwide recognize, analyze, and understand and discuss openly the genocidal dynamic. What's this say? The ISIS papers. It's in there. She believed that injustice caused by racism will end when non-white people worldwide recognize, analyze, understand, and discuss openly the genocidal dynamic. She also tackled issues such as drug use, murder, teen pregnancy, infant mortality, incarceration, and unemployment. And on this series, I don't see so far anything we'll be discussing on drug use. Possibly on episode 5, and murder. We definitely gonna be talking about that. It's right here. She got it. Murder, then teen pregnancy. We might cover that. I don't see us covering that. Infant mortality rate. Possibly. I don't see that happening either. What else we gonna say? Incarceration. I think we definitely gonna be talking about that. And unemployment, quite possibly. According to Welsing, the cause of these issues is white supremacy, the white man's race to the top. Black men are at the center of Welsing's discussion because, according to her, they have the greatest potential to cause white genetic annihilation. Now let's look at this right quick. Let's look more into this. Cause of these issues is white supremacy, the white man's race to the top. Do you know, according to my Bobby Hemmett video series, I just closed out 2 minutes before I came in here to do this video. It's a race that's gonna go without being won. The white man is racing against himself because he just, I guess, finds nothing else to do while he's here worthwhile, because he can never be us, never be as great as the I am. So the white man just decided to get on a little hamster wheel and race himself. There is no top for them to get to. Ever. The Christ, the energy, the one, that's us. So a lot of y'all follow behind them on that little wheel and scurry behind them and get caught up in the race that does not exist, but in the mind and the preoccupation of a thing called a distraction for the white man to do while he's here being a fucking seat warmer to the show that is to come to the stage, which is us, to be fully announced and presented to the world. Seriously. They are here doing what you call wasting time, biding their time, entertaining themselves while we're here on our missions, completing our individual goals as part of the collective consciousness, the one. And they've been given a role. I guess they weren't happy with the role they were given while they here with us, while we got them here with us. So they decided to turn the table and just have this race they want to create, the great white hope. Because they needed something better to do. They didn't like the assignment we gave they asked to do. So they decided to create this thing called race and declare their way to the top. Black men, says Welsing, is at the center of this discussion because, according to her, they have the greatest potential to cause white genetic annihilation. Black men. So, in a world of Francis Cress Welsing and where all is not one, which is the Karmic Dynasty platform, topic right now, the blame is on the black man. It's the black man's fault. It's your fault. Y'all the reason why these white men, race of people, have been able to put this veil, this cloak over us, that they are better than us, that they are the they. They are the ones that's about to push the button. They are the ones that's the reason why we are at, like we are where we are at. It's the white man that's in control of everything. Why are we paying for food? The white man got everybody paying for food. Why are we paying for lights? Lights are free. The white man got everybody paying for lights. Why is there such thing as an unemployment line and the food stamp program exist? Because the white man didn't have shit else to do but to get on your goddamn nerves and put the black man under the weather. Talked about under the weather earlier. Black man under the weather. Somewhere. This is how the story happened. Which means for the black man to have the authority, the ability to push the white man down and out the way, that means at one time the black man had the authority and somehow, some reason, let go of it. Allowed it to be stripped from them. So as we continue on through this series, we will gain more insight into how this happened. And it'll probably be at the part where episode 3, week 2, first episode, war against black males. Black males. The war against them. We'll tell the story more in detail, more in depth. We'll look into it and see how they have the greatest potential to cause white genetic annihilation. In the ISIS papers, because I guess we're looking at the ISIS papers. There's a lot to talk about the ISIS papers. So let's look into some more of this. Because today we on how all is not the one. So in the ISIS paper, she described white people as the genetically defective descendants of recessive genetic mutants. That's a lot in one sentence. She described white people as the genetically defective. Genetically defective. Now, this is where one of my most I want to say favorite words to use, because people like to take words and use them for other meanings that have nothing to do with the origin. Like in my last video, how I talked about the word rapture is not in the Bible, not one time. That word is from the Buddhism, the Buddhist, that area of life. The Christians snatched up that word rapture and applied it to some words in the Bible. And everybody's talking about the rapture all loosely, and the word rapture ain't even in the Bible. How about just in the Bible, whatever it says, just leave it for that? Well, you had to grab and snatch a word for it? What, the writers of the Bible didn't think of that when they put it together? Because somebody later came along and was like, well, what is this exactly called? Because they say less asses. Needed just one word. Because they ain't got time to be describing the whole theory of the rapture. They just need one word. And when you throw the word out rapture, and everybody, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. You ain't got to tell the whole story. So when it comes to Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, the one word I'm definitely going to be using with her while I have her on the platform is retarded. Now, the reason I love using this word is because I one day, years ago, about some years ago, found out that the word retarded means missing some elements. It don't mean, and when it comes to me, I already know elementally who has the elements and who is missing some. So that already told me who the retarded people is. The retarded people ain't what this society years ago dropped as a word and started using the words like special needs. Now, apparently, I think sadly, they use the people they wanted to label retarded and then later use label special needs as a diversion to the people who are retarded, which are the white people. They are missing some elements. And sadly, the society decided to group some people together with certain common things in common and label them retarded. When the entire time, y'all, the white man, is the ones that's retarded. Don't be pushing off your stuff on somebody else. Because the knowledge is always going to be out here. And it's always going to be at least one person that got the one up on y'all asses. So you can't convince the world that a group of people is retarded, because there's at least one that knows, no, your white ass is retarded. Y'all the ones that got the special needs. Because you don't want to accept who you are. So that already puts you in a lesser camp because you're not embracing yourself. And then that leads you to want to be and act like someone else. At the end of the day, it don't matter who you act like, who you mimic, who you mock, who you portray, who you bring yourself off as, and what culture You claim what culture you want to take over. The shit gonna wash out in the rinse cycle, and all that shit gonna go down the drain. And when we open the door to the washing machine, your ass gonna be sitting there looking like the white t-shirt, the white piece of cloth that you are. It don't matter. Even in the event you got stuck in there, a red t-shirt got thrown in there accidentally and your ass is pink, you still are clearly seen as a being other than what you are. And as simple as that. And since this doll been washed down in the wash cycle, because we started out with coloreds and whites in the wash cycle, went down and I'm done with that analogy. I'm done with that. We going into Francis Cress Welsing some more, and I'm going into more of looking forward to the use of the word retarded, because it definitely is the characteristic and overall of a people missing some elements. All right. Genetically defective descendants, I said this was a packed sentence, of recessive, retarded genetic mutants. Recessive genetic mutants. Mutants, that word alone carries its own weight. Mutated, meaning away from the origin. Mutate, change, different than. Y'all go look up your own definitions. I'm not doing that stuff today. We know mutated means different than the original. Recessive. It's just some stuff I'm not going into. We're going to read further. You can go look at the definition, Merriam and them if you want to. And she went further to write that this defective mutation, they may have been forcibly expelled from Africa, among other possibilities. Now, what I want to say is, when it comes to forcibly expelled from Africa, that force is why they insist on being all up in our business in the first place. Don't nobody like to be forced out of nowhere, for the most part. They're like, get off of me. Why I gotta go? Why all that resistance alone? The why, as soon as you question it, that's a problem. And you're gonna be looking for an answer. And you don't get an answer, you're gonna create an answer. And the answer would be that the retarded people is on this race to be at the top. You want to be where you came from. And you want to be in a position to where you ain't forced out no more, means you need to be on the other side of that forceful hand. That's just my thought. That's just some logic. Ebb and flow. I done been put, I'm like, what? Where I'm going? Why I gotta go? No, you can either go on with that decision, or you can attempt to overcome the situation. But again, if you're going to attempt to overcome it, it means you want to be in the position of being the forceful hand, and or in the position to eliminate the forceful hand, and you maintain your position of authority on the other side of where that forceful hand was at. I really can't see no other way about that. You know, here go my contact information. It's streaming, ticking. Somebody got it? Other than what I'm saying, let me know. We can discuss it. Let me know. I don't see it. Racism in the views of Welsing is a conspiracy to ensure white genetic survival. It's a conspiracy. Racism. That's all it's about. She attributed AIDS and addiction to crack cocaine and other substances to chemical and biological warfare by white people. Chemical and biological warfare by white people. Now, personally, I've not used crack cocaine. I don't have any addiction issues. That's not something I can relate to. I mostly, when I come to the platform and I'm speaking on something, I tend to go to the way of where I know, what I'm familiar with. Now, I am familiar with, I talked about prescription pills earlier, and we talk about biological, chemical and biological warfare. I'm looking straight at our refrigerators. I'm looking straight at these hospitals. The chemicals through these prescriptions. The food we intake, the grocery stores. Now, a lot of people will have you shy away from the center, the shelves of the stores, the canned goods, the box goods, and quickly redirect you out to the produce section, the area of the store on the outside of the shelf. Chemical and biological warfare, as I just talked about in my Bobby Hibbett video. It's in the produce. It's been talked about in my T-shirt and no panties zone video, part 1 and part 2. Those outbreaks in the produce section of them stores that they close down till they clean that shit up. That stuff, them breakouts is in the produce. Not in the Kellogg's box of cereal. Them is called recalls. They recall it and they pull them box of Kellogg's off the shelf. When it comes to those outbreaks in the produce section, they close the entire store. The produce section. Chemical and biological warfare. It ain't just AIDS. AIDS is a cancer. Cancer, as I talked about in T-shirt and no pennies on video by way of Yaki Hickman. Y'all know him? Check him out. If not, go Google him or YouTube him. Yaki, Yahki Hickman. He's the one who got me on the knowledge of the helmet worm. Biological warfare. This produce, these clothes, T-shirts, white T-shirts. I'm getting to that lifestyle. No panties on, because the dyes in the panties is sitting right there warm in your crotch. And the helmet worm is coming out. And then whichever part of your body that worm resides in is how the cancer is classified. So if it's in your system, in the capacity of the immune system, then it's called AIDS. AIDS is a cancer. Cancer is the helmet worm. It's a deworming process, people, period. If it's in your skin, it would, depending on the classification of the worm and where it's sitting at, the cancer is called eczema, or chicken pox. These things is a worm. Brought to you by produce, your denim, your colored jerseys, your laundry detergent. Speaking of whites and colors, come together detergents, household chemicals, metals, which is why when I eat, I put, that was on top, my fork was on top. But to put your metals in your food, since you're still eating them, everybody ain't adapted to or thinking about no wooden spoons or got the ability to buy any wooden things, but then people get into conversations about hot wood and all this other stuff. But I know this heated up in your food, in your tea, all that stuff, it creates issues. Check it out, I'm not playing. It's in my T-shirt or no pennies on video part 1. So that's why you see me, I'm live. I reach over here and grab, and then I'm eating because I sit this to the side on a napkin when I have hot foods. And it's been years of doing that. So now I sit it over there whether my food is hot or cold. Just out of habit. I sit all my silverware to the side. I don't leave it sitting in my bowl or the dish that I'm consuming from. So when it comes, I see apparently to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, this goes so many places outside of where I thought that this would go. Because to talk about AIDS, I can't talk about it without talking about it being a cancer, and it's a helmet worm. And if I'm repeating it too many times for you, you got it, that means you need to go share that message out with somebody. Help them through the deworming process since you got it. And having AIDS is not the end of the day. Also, far as I know and I've heard and I've studied for myself, and Yaki Hickman has said it, cancer, the worm, has never killed nobody. Like when it comes to getting chemo, that worm ain't never killed nobody. So chemo is a practice I suggest y'all look into and visit your local apothecary before you start just taking in those verbal attacks from them doctors. And sometimes we do things unknowingly. Some of them doctors don't know that they is verbally attacking you. That's being verbally abusive to you. They only know what was in their textbook. Their textbook told them everything they needed to repeat and apply as an answer to their test to get their degrees to become a doctor. And that's all they know is what they've been told. Like Ray Hagen, and he was just talking about how he realized that there was nothing that he could disprove after finding out that everything he had been saying and teaching to people was hearsay. He is preaching what his mama and daddy taught him, which is what the preachers in the church told them. And then he found out that he was himself just sharing hearsay with this congregation. That's the same thing doctors do. They don't knowingly do it sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to know because it's your body and you are responsible for your body. Ultimately. And my parental advisory is up, so I'm not even talking to the children. So don't even get me started. I'm talking to you adults, you of the majority, because minority comes in so many forms. You are responsible for your health. So quit taking some of these prescriptions out here by these so-called doctors. And I say so-called because they be in the land of the unknowing. Now, there are some who purposely act in their role. They know that they are in biological warfare with you. And they don't care because they have their money, they have status and their cars. And then they want to cut one of y'all open for a C-section so they can go to a yacht. Me and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, I don't know how this gonna go, but I'm seeing right now, because coming from another perspective, again, attributing AIDS and addiction to crack cocaine and other substances to chemical biological warfare by white people. We're going to look at the definition of racism per Dr. Cress Welsing, and then we're going to leave here, around here, and I'm about to prepare myself for part 2, Conquer the Sign, the Symbolism of Christ, of this Dr. Cress Welsing series. So she says, racism, white supremacy, is the and global system dynamic, structured and maintained by those who classify themselves as white. Structured and maintained by. Now, right quick, I'm going to share this. Right quick, those who classify themselves as white, do you know in some groups of people, and they either, I got to. They classify themselves and or they indirectly classify themselves as white through the lawyers. Okay? So now I'm across through another well-known platform from my beginnings, Karmic Dynasty beginnings. You check out the census. As I said, the white minority. You check out the U.S. Census Bureau and you study. You will see how ever minor they are said to become, their numbers kind of stay the same because there's portions of the Hispanic culture that has been classified as white. Okay? And that classification is out of their control. Around here in the States, you push to Spanish if you want to, but when it comes time for these people to use your status they want, you're classified as white, and you are officially indicted by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing at this point. Those who classify themselves as white, so classify yourself directly or indirectly, which is you have no voice. You didn't have your voice up there, and the government took your status and classified you. So white ain't always skin color. White ain't always skin color. Thank you. And I'm gonna finish the rest of this. I swear. Whether conscious or subconsciously determined. That's what I just said. Okay, so we on the me and her, we here. Okay, I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna start this paragraph or this quote over because I got excited and I interrupt her message. Let's start over. Racism, white supremacy, is the local air system dynamic, structured and maintained by those who classify themselves as white, whether conscious or subconsciously determined. The system consists of patterns of perception, logic, symbol formation, thought, speech, action, and emotional response, as conducted simultaneously in all areas of people activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. The ultimate purpose of the system is to ensure white genetic survival and to prevent white genetic annihilation on Earth, a place in which the overwhelming majority of people are classified as black, brown, red, and yellow by white-skinned people. All of the non-white people are genetically dominant in terms of skin coloration compared to the genetic recessive white-skinned people. That's powerful. Her definition of racism alone is a powerhouse. And to look into the specifics of each faction of the definition, oh, wow. This will easily turn into a 3-hour video. Are y'all serious? I have yet to detect any lies. Not that I'm even looking, but for the fair people out there, I looked. I have yet to observe a lie being detected. So, live on stage from Karmic Dynasty, from the present day Indianapolis, Indiana. I appreciate you all being here. I do. Recognition to Tribe Up 777999 YouTube channel for having me here on your platform with your wonderful audience, sharing out this message. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate everyone who stopped in again, the Karmic Dynasty, and checked me out. Here's some more of what I gotta say about stuff. Peace, everyone. Keep it together. Definitely till next time.